We have now lived in this little 580 square foot cottage for over 2 years. We bought the house almost 4 years ago now, and it took me about a year and a half to renovate it, get it all ready for us to move into. And since then, we've been living here, and it's been an awesome phase, but it's about to come to an end because we are moving very soon. And so I wanted to do a quick video just on all of the different things that we have loved about living in such a small house, some of the challenges that have come with it and the things that we just don't like, and ultimately the lessons we've learned and why we are going to be moving on very soon. So to dive right in, as far as a little context to the house, if you haven't watched the past videos, this house was one that we bought while I was living in a van trying to find a house of some sort that would work. I listened to a ton of podcasts, read a bunch of books, learned about some non-conventional ways of finding houses, and that is what ultimately led me to knocking on a bunch of doors in the area where I wanted to buy a house. And so I would just talk to people over and over and over for over the course of months. I would just knock on doors, ask people if they or anybody they know might want to sell their house, because the only way I thought it was possible was to do that, because the things that were on the market were going so quickly, so high priced, and it just didn't feel right. And so long story short, after months and months and months of doing that and years of learning, we got the house. I dove into the renovation, was way over my head, but I learned so much, which was one of the big reasons why we got this house in the first place. And we were able to live here for 2 years, and it's been incredible. And the things that we've liked the most about this experience has been, first off, when we got it, it was far below what our budget could have afforded. But it was a decision that we were making because we had a phase of life where we wanted to have a period of learning, the time availability to work on projects like our businesses and YouTube, as well as my day job, and to travel a lot. And we wanted to be in a place that was going to have a future potential as a rental, so financial stability long term for us and for our future family, hopefully. And so that has been awesome. In the past couple of years since we've lived there, there's been certain limitations, but the biggest upsides for us has been, one, I tore out all the lawn, so there's no yard work to do pretty much. It's like once a month I'll go out, pull weeds, do some pick up, and then seasonally I'll do a little bit, but overall we can set and forget it for weeks on end, and I don't have to worry about hiring somebody to come do the take care of the grass, make sure it's being watered, all sorts of stuff like that. So that's been very nice. It's facilitated us being able to travel a lot for work, for projects, for Sadie's weddings, and to travel. We've been going on international trips, a lot of semi-local trips quite frequently, because we just know we're in a phase of life where we don't have kids yet, and we want to make use of that. And so that's been one of the biggest things that we've enjoyed. It's also been nice being kind of right in this old downtown area where there's restaurants and all sorts of stuff right within walking distance, and it's also extremely close to my work. And so Sadie has been able to actually walk to see me at work most days over the past couple of years. And so those are some of the big upsides. The big downsides that we have experienced are, firstly, it's a 1-bedroom house, 1 bathroom, no closets other than the one for our clothes, and no garage. So storage has been a challenge because we both have a bunch of camera gear, camera bags, and we have hobbies with all kinds of gear. It becomes challenging to find places to store things, and this sometimes is limiting just on how much or how effective we're able to be with our work. Since we have one desk, it's in our living room, we share it. If we're both working, the other person has to be at the kitchen table. We only have one monitor, and there's just not a lot of room for anything more than that. And so that's been a little bit of a limitation, but on the plus side, that same limitation has taught us a lot about being more intentional with the things that we buy, knowing that anything that we buy, we have to find a place to store it, and so therefore we just probably shouldn't buy things unless we have a very good reason. And that's just led to some growth. One of the books that I really like about this whole topic is called Essentialism. It's kind of like the whole minimalism thing, except for not as it's not necessarily pursuing fewer things always. It's the tagline that they use is less but better. So it's not necessarily saying get rid of everything. It's just saying focus on the things that matter the most be it relationships or physical things or your activities, whatever it is, and kind of let go of the things that don't. And so this has been kind of a phase where one, we've been able to do that in our lifestyle. We've been able to focus on the travel, the business building, working, relationships, being able to be active, go mountain biking and whatnot all the time, and that's been great. And we've also had to consider the physical things, as we just don't have room for it. I do have a shed and a carport out back, and so I still have some space. And that's been awesome. I've been able to work on projects, but I am definitely ready to have a little more space for DIY projects, and preferably something that's conditioned, as well as a place for Sadie to park that's out of the weather. So especially in the winter, she's able to maybe just leave her cameras in the car where they're safe, not in the freezing cold weather, and so she's not daily having to haul everything in and out like she is currently. So that's one of the biggest downsides. And really, we are also entering into a phase where we want to start thinking about starting a family. And with one bedroom, it's just not a very easy thing to do here. And so that's just been a little bit difficult. And house specific, because it is such an old house, it's I think 105 years old now. There's a lot of different challenges that come with that. The walls and floors and everything are just kind of a little bit wonky. The insulation is very poor in a lot of the areas, so utility costs are actually fairly high for how small it is. And then also the lot is extremely small, and so we don't have a lot of parking or just space to hang out, which leads into one of the other downsides, which is space for Maru to play. She just doesn't, we don't really have a yard for her to go hang out in, so she ends up playing at the neighbors with their dog, or else we take her down to the park quite a bit, like pretty much every day. But that leads me into the next phase, which is what's coming next. So we are super pumped. We've been looking at options for a long time. I've been knocking doors again, kind of going another non-conventional method of trying to find a house in an area close to trails. And we've kind of narrowed down to one zone that we've been just hammering. We've been under contract a couple times, fallen out, just hasn't worked out until recently. Finally door knocked another house, talked to a person. They told me about a person down the street. I went to talk to them. Sure enough, they were getting ready to sell. We were able to talk to them, do a tour, negotiate, and get it under contract with us prior to it ever even going to the market. And we officially just closed this morning. I just got the text with the door code saying that we've recorded. And so we're moving on from the little house, which is kind of sad, but we're excited because I've been working on it for these past couple of weeks. All of these projects and repairs that I've been doing are going to make it a place that's a super nice, little cozy cottage that is going to be an awesome home for whoever is living here next. And we're excited to be in a house now with a garage. It's not a huge house, that's okay, but we do have more than one room, and we have a garage and a yard so Maru can play. And then the biggest thing that we are excited about is that there are trails accessible from very, very close by. So we don't even have to drive to get onto trails. So I can mountain bike, we can hike together, we can go running. And as we start thinking about the phase of having kids in the future, this is going to be really important because I hear that kids take up a lot of time, and the slivers of time that you do get are more valuable when it comes to trying to squeeze in, personal activities. And so having such close proximity to trails is going to be really important for us. And so anyways, all this to say, I just want to encourage anybody who's going down a similar path to think non-conventionally. If you're having a hard time finding a place, you might need to live in a van for a while. You might need to live in a car. You might need to make weird choices that make it to where you're financially ready. You might need to go knock on doors, talk to people. There's so many different routes to success. And there's a lot of good content out there that can give you information that will help you along that path. And you can totally make it happen. It's a possible thing. This is now our second time buying a house off market. And it's just a really, opens a lot of doors. And don't be afraid to take on a little project. Start small if you can, and close to like a Home Depot or a Lowe's if you have that kind of opportunity. That way, as you learn and you're making trips back and forth, it's not a big deal. It's easy, and the overall scope of the project is not massive, but you can totally learn it, and it will just help you to open doors in the future to where future projects just aren't as intimidating. And so that's where we are today. I'm really excited. We've got a bunch of projects planned. I'm in the van right now at Home Depot. I just got the final bit of material for the first project, which I'm really excited to go start. And so got the code to the front door. I'm gonna go over there and start working on this project immediately. And then sometime the next week or two, we're gonna actually move our stuff over. So thanks for tagging along, and I'm super pumped to share all of these upcoming projects with you guys on the channel.